folks, we are lucky to live in a beautiful democratic republic called Quebec. Okay? The majority mob rule, but at least your voices will be heard. And they have heard us, you know, they truly do care about us and how much of the struggle session it is to be a private, tax-paying Quebecer. They're not out of touch, they've guaranteed it, they've heard our cries, they've heard our whines, they have heard everything. They're giving us a break. Even if it looks like the carrot and stick, at least you're getting a carrot on the fucking stick. You should at least be grateful that you're getting $50 off of your driver's registration. $50 off. You're $50 richer. You should feel like a new empowered human being. That is not even a full tank of gas, but you should be happy that you're getting some things off. Even the GST, an indefinite period of things that will not be taxed out of our asses. If I read the article correctly, whatever it was, because a lot of things are gonna get cut. Now, even though Comrade Carney said he was going to lower the gas and take off 10 cents, it never really happened here in Quebec, because I'm wondering, well, bitch, if you promised me something, where is my Comrade Carney bucks? Where's the Carney discount that I was promised for the fucking gas? What up, bro? Don't tell me that was a lie. Hope and change, right? Hope and fucking change. Yeah, we hope, and you guys definitely fucking change faces of the Liberal Party, which you guys know I can't stand it when people want to say the liberals, when these are fucking leftists. These guys aren't fucking liberal. Again, what is so liberal about living in Canada these days, let alone Quebec? But you know, we have a fair democratic process here. We're more of a real country than Canada is, okay? You gotta give Quebecers fucking credit where credit is due, okay? They are putting people in their fucking place. You know that any speech that is disagreeable to the mainstream is automatically hate speech. Now, for example, okay, that's why the OQLF exists. They're giving us a break. They're giving us $50 off of our registration. Fantastic. We all feel like whole new human beings. It's like a reformed human. Your faith has been restored into humanity. But there has been an increase in hate speech. And that hate speech has been happening when you would hear the Montreal Canadiens being cheered in English at the Bell Center. So you hear people say, go Habs, go. That's become a problem. That has been, well, I mean, look, we want to stop the Islamification of Quebec, but a lot of people are encouraging us to learn a little bit of Arab, so I learned a little bit of Arab. So there's this thing called blasphemy, but it's basically haram. So go Habs, go is haram. It's haram. We can't fucking have that. The fact that there are thousands of people at the Bell Center putting in the energy into a foreign language that is an ultimate threat to the French language has become a bit of a problem. So therefore, can you pretty please, guys, if you're gonna cheer on the Montreal Canadiens, a very overrated franchise in a very overrated league, can you say it in French? I mean, they didn't threaten any fines, but if they had more power, they would have done it. But it's haram! Haram! You know what else has been haram as of late? And we're kind of late to the situation, though. Like, despite all the amount of politicians that we've had that were in power, whether you have Jean Charest or Pauline Marois or Philip Couillard or King Lego and this fucking bitch who I've never fucking heard of, who's kind of like the interim of the CAQ, Christine Fréchette. I swear to Christ, when I first saw that name, it's like, oh, they're just missing the end. You could have just called her Frenchette. So, you know, that's going to be her mimetic name, Frenchette. I can't even pronounce it properly, so Frenchette. You know, we're all about the French, so Frenchette. Frenchette. Let's just call her that, Mrs. Frenchette. Never heard of this fucking bitch, but, we're in good hands. We're in good hands. Finally very progressive, now that we had a second woman after 10 years of men screwing things up from the last fucking woman. Guys, they're so dumb. Women should only be the people in power, and men like to start wars, and this is what we're fucking getting when it comes to the next terrible thing of haram. Again, all these politicians that we've had in power, there's always been a tiny change going on with the French language, but this one is another fucking scandal that cannot be ignored. It shouldn't be ignored. People need to talk about this, which is why I'm making a video. Okay? It is a very sad day where you have spent decades upon decades putting a lot of compelling, restrictive language Nazi laws and having an institution dedicated to being the authority of the French language is, we're having a fucking problem here. It's disgusting. You thought you would have solved the Anglophone threat, but you didn't. You didn't. You haven't solved it in over 30 fucking years since the terrible referendum of 95. God damn it. What was going on at that time? What were the shenanigans? We will never know. How is it that it was 0.5 away from being yes, but it turned out to be a no? Oh, there's a conspiracy here and whatever the fuck. So, depending on whoever it was that we had in power, there's always been Quebec government websites that, from what I remember, always had the option of having it switch from French to English. So, that is the new moral panic, the new satanic language panic that some irrelevant loser at some fucking union, something, who has a made-up job is complaining about. And the fact that there is this option is bad news. It's not very good. The fact that we even have the option to click in English on a Quebec government website is haram, and choices are also haram, and it's a big fat problem. Okay? We haven't solved this threat. We haven't stopped it at all. And the fact that this is even a choice just goes to prove that English is still on the rise. We need to cut down on those fucking language pipelines that give people the option to have services in English, despite the fact that the Anglophone population is smaller than the French. So your options are getting less and less and less, just like your opportunity for growth if you are a freedom-loving individual to go up in life and succeed in Canada. Your choices are also getting smaller and smaller and chipped away. Remember, folks, freedom is something you earn every day. Elbows up. You know how that shit goes. Anything beyond that, you're a fucking traitor. Anything talking about the Americans and whatever in certain regards where you have a preference for, you are a traitor to your country, okay? Again, ask what you could do for your country, not what your country could do for you. How many fucking times do we have to, keep beating this into your head until morale improves? Have you guys not learned your fucking lesson yet? God damn, we really gotta put that power, we gotta put the pedal to the fucking metal on that, dudes. We really gotta do that. But the thing is, these people should also know that the fact that the internet exists is also a terrible thing. We might as well be like China. If you really want to censor anything English, you might as well just create your own French-only side of the internet corner and just French max out the ass until it's no longer sustainable and you're worse than China. Or you become like China. Google Translate and shit? Nah, that's terrible. Those, apps to learn another language other than French, terrible, haram. Yeah, that is so, we cannot allow this. Any other language other than French is a problem, okay? Even on Quebec government websites, this is a problem. Choice is a problem. The fact that you even have to call and an Anglophone has to attest in good faith that they fall into some of these categories is still is still too much. You should see when I fucking do that. I just tell these people, pass me to somebody who speaks in English, and you're waiting on the fucking phone for more than 20 fucking minutes just because you want somebody to fucking talk to you in your preferred language. Well, I mean, look at Quebec history, Everybody wants to keep going back to the French were defeated by the English on the Plains of Abraham, so therefore, cut the fucking crap. You guys lost. Learn from history or doomed to fucking repeat it. So, ergo, it's 2026. Get with the fucking program, or else you guys are done. And my thing is, but you guys have a bigger threat: the internet. And in my own conspiratorial mind, it's not about the money, though. It's not about, actually, no, I'm lying. It is about the money, because when you're operating in Quebec, a small business, they're gonna still be telling you how to run your fucking business. You cannot have much English. Again, you can, but the font size has to be smaller and there has to be more marketing with the fucking French. But when it comes to government websites where you're dealing with the fucking state, there shouldn't be any fucking English. Okay? We have to cut all ties and all money and all budgets to that shit. Because, hey, we're poor bitches over here. All that Albertan money and that dirty oil money, it's not suffice anymore. Yeah, we get billions of fucking dollars, but, we gotta pay our handlers. We're also trying to make a living too, guys. It's hard being a fucking multi-millionaire and then a gazillionaire. Elon Musk is like, what? Is he considered the first trillionaire at this fucking point? It's hard to be a trillionaire. there's never enough money to go around. But for a democratic republic like Quebec, it always needs money. It always fucking needs it. It's never enough. But that fucking dirty oil money from Alberta, that's not suffice either, man. That's not suffice. So we gotta start cutting corners, Life is fucking expensive. I mean, we only got a 30% pay increase over the next 5 years. What's another 30 fucking percent? We're still poor. I mean, woe is us. Woe is us. We're the fucking promised land of North America for the French. And we gotta go after people saying, go Habs, go. That's not gonna pay the fuck. Look, if we don't do anything, that's not gonna pay the fucking bills. Okay? We are the ones that are for free speech. Okay? Don't listen to this bitch on the internet called Maiden Liberty. She's perpetuating hate speech. We're the real free speech absolutists. We know what's right for the French, even though we haven't figured out how to combat the Anglophone threat. We'll get there eventually, but in the meantime, we gotta make a living too. We gotta make a fucking living. All of these Quebec websites cannot handle this shit anymore. We cannot operate with 2 languages. I'm sorry, it's getting too expensive, so we gotta cut the fucking budget. And this tiny minority, it's becoming a problem. Hell, even the fucking Haitians and the Northern Africans and the Moroccans and the Algerians, that's not the real French. That's the fake French. They need to get accustomed to our fucking French. So what? Screw you. More of a reason, justification to, have more Quebec. When in Rome, do what Quebecers do. When in Quebec, do as Quebecers. And if you're going to speak in French, you better speak correctly. And when you're going to cheer on for the Montreal Canadiens, a cash cow, you better fucking say it in French. Otherwise, you're a threat, and that's haram. Peace out.